Hey, chat, what's going on? Welcome to episode 12 of the BetterCast, joined by Neely and Jace the Ace. I'm Yelkreb, and this week, we got the playoff updates, we got all the brackets going your way, but there's really not that many games to go over, so, as the number of games gets smaller every week, we get more of the season to analyze. So with that, we've come up with some top 10 lists for Tier 2 and Tier 3 players, as well as a top 10 Better Academy members since the launch of the Better Academy. But before we get into that, Jace, why don't you catch us up on the playoff scores?
All right. Well, there's only one score in Tier 3 this week, and it's Golden Hour 3-1 over Death Watch. Uh, Obviously, Solar Flares, Feeders. There's a bit of a situation happening there, but yeah, that's all we have for Tier 3. Tier 2, the finals have been set. Lucky 13 Diamonds will be playing Event Horizon in the
Nice.
finals with a 3-0 win over No Daylight. Tier 1, we had one match this week as well. Shell Shocked 3-1 over Labyrinth.
All right, so Labyrinth knocked out, Death Watch
Mhm.
knocked out. Unfortunate. And yeah, that Solar Flares hindsight game. Neely, you know a lot about this pause rule now. You've gotten to the bottom of this. What is the deal with that game?
All right, so obviously a lot of people saw what happened, very scuffed. So I misinterpreted the pause rule. I think like a lot of people, I know what hindsight people are going to say, and a lot of people are going to say is, well, this isn't just a pausing issue. There were DOSes. This is a different issue. This is very true. But what it did show, though, to me, is that when a pause issue happens, it's actually never been handled in BA before if you go over this three pause limit. So nobody really knew how to proceed. And I don't think all of it was exactly in writing. So how I now perceive it, rather than before I was like three pauses, game's over, GG, send it home. Like that's just like, I don't know, you needed four and that broke a rule. Like if you break a rule, I always figured you just forfeit. Obviously, that's not the rule. If you have three pauses, you get 10 minutes per pause. That's going to be 30 minutes of time that your team is allotted to just dick around and do nothing, while you wait for your players to get back. But if a fourth pause occurs, say you're on map going into map 4, you've used three pauses, you have a DC that would require a pause. Well, you don't get a pause because you've used three pauses. Match ends right there. Not the match, the map ends right there, and you go right to map 5. You can't wait for your player to get back. You've used your three pauses. I get where some people are like, this is a bit ridiculous. And I know some people are also going to be like, but there was DOSing. I know there was DOSing. This is me just talking about the rule if DOSing was not involved, right? So if you're kind of bearing with me, once you've used your three pauses, you're kind of the leniency is over, right? Now you needed a fourth pause, you don't get one, the map ends. We're not 6v5ing. Some people are like, but if we could win a 6v5, we're not wasting our time. We've already wasted 30 minutes on you as a team.
Yeah.
So
You
like
get so
we're
much
moving
time
on.
with how it
We're
is.
we're mo- we're moving on to map like if say it's 2-1 hindsight, right? And Solar Flares is needs a pause and they have a DC. The game that they get the map win. No matter what happens after three pauses, if you have a DC and need a pause, it's a map win for the opposing team. If that ends the match, it ends the match. If it's now 2-2, like it would have been for Solar Flares, fucking light, dude. Just went out. Now I'm dark for the rest of the thing, dude. Anyway, I was fucking
Nice.
closing shit, getting all out of whack. But then you go to map 5, and this isn't written in a rule, but I think this should be the exact rule. If you've used three pauses, the whole point behind the three pause rule is so that we can stop wasting time with these hour delays. Everybody hates it. Everyone gets tilted. You
It
just
is
got to
the
move
worst
on.
game to cast ever, too. Like, you're the
Oh, it's
caster
awful.
in a game that's just getting paused and paused and paused. Oh my god.
I'll leave. Like I have no shame in leaving after 2 hours. Like unless it's real
Yeah.
good, like it's not anymore. Like there's no way. But
Yeah.
oh, we lost Jace.
No, we're back.
He's back. Okay. Well, regardless, to finish it out, if you go into the last map and you again have a DC, that's going to end the map. But in between maps, you only get 5 minutes. I know what a lot of people would do is, well, we've used three pauses. We're just going to wait for our guy to get back in between games. It's not a technical pause. We're just going to wait because everyone likes to wait for their players. Nobody likes to dig into the bench. In this scenario, you have to. Unless that guy gets back in 4 minutes, you have to just go to map 5. I mean, And I know some people are like, that's kind of ridiculous. Once you're in this situation, you're going to say the rule's stupid. But when you're on the other side of this, and again, this is barely about the Solar Flares hindsight game, because there was confirmed DOSing in that situation. Hindsight was getting DOSed. They know who DOSed them. They're banned from BA. They weren't even in BA, so he's banned.
Dude,
but like,
what a
what are you
life
gonna
that
do?
that kind of person has.
I know.
It's just depressing.
Super
Oh
cool.
man, I've wasted my own time before, but like never have I wasted my time where I like go out of my way to go DOS some gamers in a tournament with no prizes.
Yeah, it's so unfun, dude. If you're in
And you're
those
not even
games,
part of the game. Like, you're literally not even part of the game. That's
Yeah.
I don't get it.
I don't get it either. But that I know it's probably a little incoherent. I had some stuff going on here. My light went out, so I probably kind of danced around that. Needless to say, if 3 pauses happen, the game doesn't end. Just
You're
I'm
out of
hoping that
timeouts.
by me talking about this, we can get. I'm sure they're already working on putting something in writing of exactly how to proceed, and everyone should know. But I know sometimes stuff gets put in the rules, and like I don't read the rule book every time it's updated. You know what I mean? Like I've read it once, but I haven't read it since all the updates. I just kind of like I just keep up with BA, but not everyone does, so not everyone knows how to handle stuff. And maybe that'll be a thing going into next season for casters. Is a requirement to be a caster is you have to read the rule book. You're kind of like a referee almost at that point. You have the pauses in hand. So like, and there's certain times you can and can't pause, and it is kind of important. So, I mean, if you're gonna be like a ref or an umpire for anything, you do have to take a little class and whatever. And all we would ask is you read the fucking rule book.
Yeah, there probably should be some sort of like guideline that
know.
casters have to follow, because that's a thing, and like other
Yeah.
productions, like that's totally a thing. A caster has to
And
know
as
what's
of-
going on.
And as of right now, we don't require that, and people do goof up. Like, no shame, no harm, no
Oh,
foul.
I've
Like,
goofed up like
Yeah.
my first couple of casts, dude. Quick play rules were on, like
Oh,
league
yeah.
games. Like
That's
Neely and I
cool.
have had a few of those. Like it might be over one hand, like the amount of
It's-
times that's happened
it-
that I could count.
it happened. Like, it's a rookie mistake for sure, but it's just like a rookie mistake. It's a rookie mistake from everybody to not check too, though. Like, 'cause
Yeah.
it happens, Like it is kind of on everyone at a certain point. Like, is it comp rules? Is it? Yeah, it's comp. Okay, just gotta check it out. But anyway, have we done all the scores?
Yeah.
Yeah. Jace, what do you
So
think's
now-
gonna happen in the event and Diamonds Tier 2 final? Because like we've kind of undersold Diamonds so far in the
Yeah.
playoffs. I think they're doing really well.
I think I've definitely made the mistake of sleeping on diamonds a good bit. I mean, apparently they have great coaching because they've come back from getting, like, I think event 3 won them during the regular season. I'm not positive on that. Don't quote me, but they got 3-1 by taking space in the first round and came back 3-0 them. So I don't want, it looks like I'm sleeping on them again, but I'm gonna take a vet just because how good they've looked all season long. Like, I say like a 4-3 game though, 4-3, 4-2. Just
Is it?
a
Wait,
lot
are
of
we
maps.
best of 7 on finals?
I think finals is
Bert?
best of 7.
It's a great question. It's a great question. I'm
It
sure
was
there's a
la-
lot
it
of
was
people
last
who want to
season.
know the answer to that question.
It was
I would
last
like
season.
the finals to be best of
Was it
7,
be-
but there could be 2 games. Like
Yeah.
I don't
Well,
know.
are we doing that?
I don't know if we're doing
think-
that either. I
I don't think we're doing.
that'd be
I
great
don't
to
think
know.
we should do that.
I don't
think
think.
just make
I'm
it best of
almost
7.
positive we're not.
There's
doing
some
like that. If you
officers in Twitch chat that know what we're doing for sure.
Yeah. Is it best of 7 or is it 2 set or like?
I'm pretty sure the
winner always
finals
wins
is the
one?
finals, by the way. What we're talking about with if they do
Yeah.
2 games is if the lucky 13 diamonds comes up, they beat event. They don't have to beat event again. That is
Yeah.
something that's happened in other things. I don't think we're doing that. Tell me if I'm wrong.
It
Honestly,
is a
I think we're
typical
doing-
losers bracket like thing
Well, I
to
think we're
do.
doing out like the way Overwatch League does it. It's just when, like, if a loser comes up and makes to the finals, they don't have to win twice.
I
And that's
just
like
feel
the
like
gold
it's
standard.
finals. I just feel like finals is finals at a certain point.
Yeah.
Like if you've made the run through the losers bracket, like you
Yeah.
kind of
You-
did
you've earned
your
it.
winning 2 games. Like, do I really need to beat this one team once that I know they didn't technically lose? They maybe deserve a loss,
It's looking like in
They
the
could
chat too. They're saying best of 7.
best of 7. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank
Yeah,
God I'm not in the
again,
finals. Jesus.
I'm
That's a
again,
game
I'm gonna
right
go.
there.
I'm
I'll
gonna
never
go.
have to
Yeah.
worry about that, guys. Neely's doesn't make it far in playoffs if he gets there.
I'll never have to
Like
worry
to
about
get
that either.
yeah.
I've never even
Jace
made the
does no,
playoffs.
Jace
So.
doesn't even need to
Jace,
know
yeah,
playoffs.
Yeah.
hasn't even made
What's the
playoffs.
first
Unlucky.
round? What's on there?
What happened last season? A new future.
Mm.
Ouch.
Blueprint got some
Screwed
forfeits.
future.
All right, Chad. I got clips for you. Have at 'em.
He pinned that Lucio that was going to immediately touch. What a play by him. But then out of nowhere, Pathfinder coming with the 3k blossom that could have changed it all. That was a great play by them too, and it was just, you could probably hear me, everyone who was watching, I was gasping at every opportunity. This man, Phantom, such a good team, and the DPS and G3 frags, the man himself, as he gets play of the game, he is popping off. Without this man, I don't think they would be doing as good. He is playing so well, it's actually unbelievable. And then, especially on that Widow, but he also played really well on that Soldier.
Your score is
Lucky
Lucky 13 Diamonds 3-0 in a dominant fashion over No Daylight. Now, let's get the player of the match real quick while we still have it on our minds. Frax looked very good, but I have to give it to Picasso. You know, that ball is insane. I'm not sure what you say. I think they like the ball.
I have to give it to Frags. He literally, he got 3Ks.
Really just needs one cap. Shadow looks for the shatter, but Alfred easily blocks it. As now they're just going to be trying to use things, you know. It's taking quite a long for Golden to use these ultimates. They're not really making the moves, but they're, as I say that, they're going to pick one big shatter onto the enemy main tank. Fury just walks into the team, and no one's looking at him. This EMP combined with the Blossom might be able to even things out. But I don't think it's enough. Just G-Money and Tomy are left. Tomy's going to be hiding so that the stall can come out. It's very close, but played that almost perfectly on the defense. That was... I have tears in my eyes. That was beautiful.
Yeah. This is pretty much the most trouble they had. Oh, let's check out this play. Huh. Not a bad flick shatter there out of Yellow Crab.
All right. That's what happened in those games. I'm sad. My off-tank had his appendix taken out, dude. What's up with that? That's unpredictable. Oh.
Yeah. Believe me, I know your pain. I went through 4 off tanks this season. So
I was gonna say I went through 4 appendixes. I was like, Jesus
Yeah.
Christ.
I mean,
Jace,
We
eat
got
something
knocked
better. I
out.
don't know.
To a useless organ.
It's tough. Yeah.
yeah,
It's only useless till it starts killing you,
yeah.
Yeah.
and it serves its purpose.
All right. So, what do we think is going to happen in the final for Tier 2, Jace? Who's going to win that game?
I'm gonna go.
Well, you went
event
event, right?
4-2, 4-3, 4-3 event. I'm not sleeping on
Neely,
diamonds.
Did you have a prediction?
I'm gonna go 4-1 diamonds on this one. Can I give a reason?
4-1 diamonds.
Yes, please.
On a reason. So some people are gonna say, hey, they didn't have Scott. Guess who didn't have Scott all year? Event Horizon. Guess who did? Galactic Stars. Guess who was caught sleeping on multiple occasions? Sky. Was he gonna come to the finals again? He's done it before, but he just got a pocket in finals. I don't know if he's gonna have it in Tier 2. I've seen him try to play Tier 3. We've all seen him in the Tier 4 signings. I don't know if he's gonna have what it takes. I don't even know if they're gonna have him. Where was he last game? Against
feel
No
like
Daylight.
I can give a little bit of insight on this one.
No,
I
no,
feel
no.
like
I'm still
qualified.
going. No
Okay,
insight.
okay.
No
sorry.
insight.
Oh my
Anyway,
god.
Why I think Diamonds is gonna win though is because, I mean, No Daylight went 3-2 with Event. With Event, and guess who didn't go 3-2 with No Daylight? Diamonds. They kind of dusted them up. So, maybe Daylight came in with No Daylight came in with like a different mindset,
We were missing a key
different attitude.
factor
But
for 3 maps. It was sad. We were missing our Lucio.
okay.
It was kind of
I
a big
will
deal.
Who cares?
I
I
know.
will say,
Who cares? Sorry, Lucio
Scotland,
players.
when he
You have an
wants to show
impact. Don't
up.
worry.
when Scotland
Scott-
wants to show up, he will. he can choose just not to be there on a day that, you know, I mean, like he can just like he'll be there, but kind of suck.
The thing is,
that's no offense to him either, but like I know those type of players. You know what I mean?
yeah, the way I kind
I'm
of see
kinda
it is
like
like Event Horizon needs Scotland to show up, I feel like, to have a good chance. And you know who hasn't had Scotland on their team the whole season is the Diamonds. Like they don't need that guy to show up. I feel like they're just good. Like right now they're just in a stride where they can't be stopped.
If I'm being honest, I don't know if Event needs Scotland at all. They haven't had him all year. He basically just came on for playoffs, and he missed one of the playoff games. So like,
they beat Diamonds without Scott.
well, they beat like everybody without Scott.
Yeah,
they played the whole season without him. He left
they
you
had
guys
a great team
the last week.
True.
yeah.
So like, I don't know if Scott's the guy. Like you can argue that Scott's not even a factor in this. I just think when you look, if you just look at it mathematically, like no daylight, both teams played him 1 week after another. One team dealt with them. Other team, you know, they both dealt with them, but not as decisively. So I think if you're, you know, I think these teams are a lot more even. The only thing that'll like change that up is, you know, the only thing that'll really change that up is like if for whatever reason like Event Horizon has some factor on their team that Diamonds can't handle. I haven't seen many Diamonds games, if any, but I'm kind of willing to go with them. And I know guys like Chus, he plays Widow and stuff, but I also know he also goes to the Rat. I know Kevin McGurl plays a lot of Sombra, a little bit of Soldier, like stuff like that. So like I don't.
Yeah. Kevin McGurl's good.
Maybe Diamonds has a Pharah. I really don't know what they have. Anyone in chat could like tell me and like we can bring it up. But
they've got a disgusting Lucio player.
They do have a good Lucio.
That's what they've got.
Yeah.
Which pretty much means they have a really nasty Ryan Zarya too, because that just goes hand in hand.
And G Frax is not bad either. Let's not just ignore that he's
the main tank.
Pretty.
That's a good Reinhardt right there.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think Event Horizon should be nervous because they've got the target on their back and they kind of look beatable. Like I think we all think the same thing.
I think it's going to be a good game though. I really think
it's going to be a really good final.
Yeah.
Event hasn't lost a game all season. They're trying to do what Blueprint wasn't allowed to do, but would have done without even a question. Event would be in the losers bracket playing Diamonds right now if Blueprint was still in this thing.
One thing that Event cannot do that they've done a lot this season is just kind of, you know, meme on a map. I've seen them do it over and over again. And shit, the Galactic Stars at our worst there towards the end of the season, we took a map off them because they decided they wanted to throw Scotland on main tank, just do all this weird stuff. And when, like, that team shouldn't, like, I love everybody on that team, but we weren't good enough to take a map off just about any team at that point. But we took a map off the best team. So.
I can sign off on that.
Yeah.
Burke, what do you think?
Yeah, I'd have to agree with you.
What? No. Oh, well, not that. I meant the Diamonds versus
the finals game.
What's your prediction?
What's my prediction? Oh man, you're making me throw my hat in the ring.
You got to. I feel like you're kind of on my side a little bit, but
I think Event Horizon can do it. I mean, they know how to win games. That's pretty evident.
But do they know how to? Do they know how to
be
lose?
Really close.
Do they know how to come back from one losing? That's the question.
Ooh.
I mean, you saw that in No Daylight, though. You saw.
Yeah, but they threw the first map. I was beating around the bush.
If they lose the first map, it could be a big issue. Like if they lose Control, which is like weird because Control is like kind of a throwaway type map. You know,
losable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it's really not that big of a deal if you lose Control, but if they're a team that can't recover, then it is a big deal. But I think they're gonna win. But I think it's gonna go 7 maps, and the casters are gonna have their hands full and lose their voices.
And that's gonna be a fun one to watch.
Wait, hold on, real quick. Something that the officers also know. What format for 7 games are we doing? Because it is it's a different format, like completely. Like which order of the
I'm pretty
maps?
sure you just do hybrid and then payload after the 5th Control.
Yeah, hybrid payload. Okay. That makes the most sense. No ties.
I don't think that's how Overwatch League does it. I don't care how they do it, like how we do it. It's just something that if they don't do it the same way, people are gonna have an issue. Just if you're in here and you're thinking about that stuff, just make sure it's cleared up and you're confident whenever you want to pull.
We're gonna start
7 control maps.
No matter what.
May the best Roadhog win.
All well, only well.
Yeah,
I
only
think
Ilios.
Vince got that one.
7 rounds of Ilios. Who's the
No
best
hero
tier 2
limits.
team?
All Roadhog. All right.
Okay. So
Do
we've
we
got
do tier 1?
Labyrinth got knocked out.
I shell shocked.
That's pretty much all that
Um,
happened.
Yeah, but like, are we at? I don't actually know because I think our brackets didn't come in. So, are we
Yeah,
at the
well-
final yet, or?
There is one addition to the tier 1 bracket that's kinda
Oh,
slowing down the
yeah.
process.
Yeah, Havoc's back in. My tier 1
Yeah.
team. What do you know? Blueprint finding their way back
Where are
in.
they
I
back
don't.
in? How are they back in? What happened?
I don't. I don't even want to talk about it. But
Okay.
so Zero G,
It's kinda-
Zero G's out. I don't like. I personally, I don't think the admin team likes how they're out. I don't think anybody likes how they're out. But
How are
at
they
a certain
out?
point, so they had a player that was not in the BA server playing for the team. He was on the roster. He's legal, but he's not in the server, and that is a specific rule. And I hate that that has to come into play. But I do know with like my tier 4, which obviously ended up getting banned anyway. I know like Zyphon, like a day before the season started, got mad about some tier 4 team talking shit or something. And just like left the server. And I was talking to Kilo. I was like, you can get him back, right? We can't play if he's not. Like, it was something like actively in my mind, making sure that everyone's in. And it's like, they just got to be in there, man. Like that, it is kind of a rule. And it's like, I think it's dumb that I think we should have a future rule that's like, if it doesn't come up earlier than playoffs, and like there's no other infraction, like that's a little.
I will say though, it seems like a rule that's kind like it's. I like how it happened, but it's not that hard of a rule to follow. Like just
I know.
get
I just
Yeah,
don't
it's
know
really
what
not.
I don't know what the
Yeah.
circumstances were either though. Like, did the guy just back out randomly? Like, I don't need to be in the server. I never look at it. Like, did he just do that?
Let's be real. If they don't have a Discord, if they had to make a Discord for it, it's kind of a sus look for obvious reasons. But I don't think there's any of that going on in this situation.
I'm
But
pretty sure you're able to
Nah.
check too as like an officer. If someone like joined and then left and then joined back. Like I'm pretty sure you get all that audit log. So I don't think he was
Yeah,
ever in it.
if you find it. Oh my god.
No, you can just type the guy's
I
name
will.
in.
Oh, okay, that's true. I was thinking the
Blueprint
BA
needed
audit
a little
log.
No.
Blueprint needed a little bit of luck though. I think this is Blueprint's luck that they kind of deserved at this point. You know.
Let's go
Yeah.
Havoc.
Let's go
Yeah.
Havoc.
Win the
I
whole
mean,
thing.
I know talking from the inside on Havoc might be delaying it a little bit just because we did tell our players to go home, you know?
Yeah.
It was over. So
Yeah.
we're bringing them back together right now and seeing what we can put together as a team. You know, they did get knocked out round 1, but they did lose to the team that is now out. So if that was the best team and that was the only team they're going to lose to, maybe they got a chance to take a round. I don't think they go finals. That's talk coming from the org manager. And I have faith in
Yeah.
all my teams. Anything can happen. It's playoffs. We all know that. But I think just with the circumstances of us, like disbanding. I know one of our coaches, Dragon, who might be in the chat, I don't know, has he's trying to help. He's been always helping, and he's friends with one of the guys, so he never went anywhere, which is obviously super clutch for a situation like this. And I'm hoping they can make something happen. It's T1. If the other team doesn't show up or something, which I think can easily happen, I think more subs in T1 get used than anywhere else. So
Yeah. I don't think it changed my prediction. I still have Nightwatch winning it all. That's just kind of how it was from the beginning. So
It's a good pick. It's definitely a
Yeah.
good pick.
yeah, I think
think
now
I-
Shell Shock is
Yeah.
looking strong though, just because
Yeah.
they lost to Zero G.
Mm-hmm.
Who's now? I mean, it's really bad when like the time
Wait,
touted
Shell-
number
yeah, yeah.
one, the time touted number 1 of Shell Shock loses pretty decisively to a team that's
Yeah.
now out. It's a rough go, I would have to say, but that is where it's going to be. Any predictions for where this goes? I mean, Shell Shock, who do they play? I don't know the bracket. It's not in front of me.
They're gonna play the
I'm not
loser
sure.
of Nightwatch versus Havoc.
Okay.
So
Yeah. I think it's just going to be a Nightwatch Shell Shock rematch in
Yeah.
the final. That's what you'd expect to see. But so if anyone says I'm biased, you can go home.
I mean,
No, I agree with you. I think it's going to be a rematch in the finals, and I think it's a really good matchup for Tier 1 as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well,
well,
I,
that's
I think we can just cut to the chase and get to the top 10s now.
Oh,
And I
do you
think
want to predict who's going to win that one map between Solar and I saw that in chat between
Solar
Solar
Flares.
and
Yeah,
Hindsight.
so Devin said, "Who wins tier 3?" I mean, who does
Yeah.
win tier 3? I mean, I know
I
it's
mean-
tough because you kind of it's up between 3 teams. I guess since one of them's basically in a tie right now. You kind of.
I'm sticking to my money.
I mean, I'll go Golden Hour. That's who I initially actually had, and then I was kind of
Golden
like,
Hour's-
nah, they're not gonna do it. But I mean, at this point, they played 3-2 of them in the middle of the season. Assuming hindsight's all legit and
I mean,
whatnot. I still think. I think I gotta go Golden Hour. I'm rooting for Solar Flares, of
Yeah.
course. But they got to first make. It's if I'm like willing to bet money, you kind of have to bet money on the one that's already making it right now.
Yeah.
Right now, it's not decided between Solar and Hindsight. They're literally scheduling for 2 main roster teams to show up to play Control.
that's going
That's
to push
it.
everything back another week too, guys.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
because Solar Flares can't schedule during the week. They literally
Yeah.
don't scrim anymore because they can't do the week. They can't do
Yeah.
it. So
I'm still sticking to Solar though. I mean, given a week, I don't think you can really work around what Solar has because they'll just throw something random out there at you.
yeah.
And I don't think Solar's going to try to work around what Hindsight has either. I think it's going to.
Who is Solar's
Yeah.
hit scan player? They got Corgi.
Corgi.
Yeah,
Corgi.
okay.
Kwanzaa can flex to like a Bastion, I guess you count as hit scan, and he can play
We're
with
not
Soldier.
gonna we're not
Yeah.
gonna count Bastion as hit
He
scan.
plays a lot of Bastion.
Yeah, we're not going to count that.
We count Bastion as Bastion. It's a very. If you're like, I'm a hit scan player. Oh yeah, what do you play? Bastion. You're a
Bastion
Bastion
76.
player.
Or Bastion. Yeah.
To be fair, he's got no upward recoil.
I think Golden Hour
Yeah.
can still do well. They're good.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
man.
Fury
they're
Legit's
there,
the
aren't
best
they?
player in Tier 3.
Oh no, wait, no. Does Golden Hour still has to play the loser of this game?
Yeah,
I forgot about that.
Whoever loses
I
that
totally
map,
forgot
they
about
have to
that.
play them.
Okay.
I think
That's
Golden Hour.
tough.
I think they make it to the finals.
I think they do too.
The big
They're the
losers bracket
Diamonds.
run.
They're the Diamonds.
The
of
top
loser
3,
bracket.
the top 4 in Tier 3 even were so strong, man. Just
Yeah,
so
they were.
strong. Like Deep Dive got knocked out of playoffs. How good were they all season? It's just so good.
Yeah,
They
really
were
good.
good, but they. I mean, I think everyone there and everyone around the league who's been scrimming them. No offense to anyone, but
Yeah.
they had fallen off a lot.
Yeah.
You know.
But still, like. and
Everyone
Golden
was
Hour's obviously
sleeping on the
so
other
good.
group too. Like I was trying to say that like that group was
Yeah.
really strong. That had like all the teams that
What?
were getting ignored, and then Thesis who wasn't getting ignored. But clearly, all those teams are really good.
Yeah,
I
no,
think-
that was definitely a good group. I think the issue was when you're in the other tier and you're looking at all, like, 'cause I remember I was on Solar and I'm looking at all my games like, dude, all of these are hard except for like one,
Yeah.
Imagine.
1 or 2. And the thing was like, when you're looking at it like that, and then you're looking over at Group A, and all you see is like SR Goblins, Rampage. What was the third one that you guys knocked out in the last game? Burke.
Reforged, right?
Reforged, nothing against Reforged, but you weren't the strongest team of the bunch. I think Solar, from day one, Solar that lost a lot of games could have destroyed all 3 of those teams. And that's just 3
Yeah.
wins, and then you scrap. Like when you're looking, I think the top of Group A was better. There's not much can't really argue that at this point. So
I mean,
Yeah.
it's not. It's
That's
it's
a
lot
start. It was
closer-
way better. A
Yeah,
lot
it's
of
a lot
teams
closer.
changed
But-
their look.
but Group B did have Jules, and Kilo.
Yeah.
You can't
It's
sleep
a-
on that.
Group A
It's a lot
had
closer on
time
that
zone.
side.
They did have time zone.
Yeah.
Yep.
Tier 3 is definitely a lot more competitive across the board than Tier 2 was.
Hey.
Group B and Tier 2 is just fucking, I apologize, ridiculous.
But
It was just
before we
insane.
move on with these silly jokes, time zone was also in Group B.
Yeah.
He was in both
True.
groups.
Didn't win a
so
match.
Yeah, for a little bit.
Did not win a match.
He was
in
part
Group
of
A.
why Solar Flares was ranked so damn high week 1.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Wow, this guy's really good. Who is he?
Yeah, I always wonder why no one on Solar talked, because like nobody did. But then it's also like I get why Decoy/Timezone didn't talk. He didn't want to get recognized too much.
Yeah.
Wanted to keep it on the DL. I just wanted to shoot some faces. And yeah, I don't know if I've mentioned this on here before, but like I remember seeing him day one. And I'm just like, dude, that's a sus account. Like I remember saying it. Like I said it to Kate, who owns thinking like it got vetted and it was good. So I mean, what are you gonna just let him go to another team? And I was like, I'm playing with him. The thing is like, I think everyone always assumes, oh, you're a Smurf, everyone knows. Because there is a lot of situations where that is a thing. Like, I do think in the Jewel Kilo situation, especially with that team, everybody knew, like, everyone in that org was, like, part of, like, the Apollo stuff, like, or is in that kind of group of friends. Like, you know who these people are. It'd be like if, Burke and I Smurf and CCC, like, some people might, catch the drift of who we are if we were to do it, So.
Nope. Never.
No. Well, yeah, we throw in our female voices and we just e-girl it up. We'd be the Mercy Lucio duo of Tier 2 and
Southern
CCC.
Southern accent shot callers.
Will we just sound like Jace the whole time?
Yeah.
Like, oh, why did we visor?
Why did we use bait?
Oh man, yeah. This is
Okay. Top 10.
CCC.
Jace, you're going to start. Give me the top
All
10
right.
players in Tier 2.
all right. This is gonna look pretty biased because I am a tank player, so
You don't have to open it with that. They'll close
Yeah.
it with that. You're biased.
Really
don't
strong way to open up.
I think
Jace.
it's just implied at this point. Let's be honest, it's better.
I mean, everyone's
all right.
biased. Who isn't biased?
All right, 10. I have Aeropulse 99. He was a support for Galactic Stars. I still think he's the most slept-on support in Tier 2. I think he's up there with people like Kane and all them. He's not quite at that level yet, but he's very close. All right, number 9, another one in Galactic Stars, Burbird. I've been saying all season long, I think he's one of the top 2-3 best supports in Tier 2. I genuinely believe that. I think there's like Deadass. I think there's Corgi when he was here, but I think Bird's up there. At 8, I have Walrus Man. Walrus Man. If anybody remembers
Walrus
the Hog
Man
meta,
what?
Walrus Man slap.
Say the whole name.
If anybody remembers the Hog meta, that's when Taken Space really started coming into their own, and I remember watching Walrus Man slap. Just dominating teams on Roadhog. And at number 7, I have his tank partner, Snippy. Snippy, one of the top 3 main tanks, top 2.
Snippy
maybe.
the what?
Snippy the Ninja.
Nice.
Why are we doing this? Snippy the Ninja. He's just one of the best main tanks in Tier 2. He's the best monkey in Tier 2 by far. And another main tank at number 6. Yeah. 6, Overpowered Bot. Probably the best Reinhardt in Tier 2. Hope he sticks to Tier 2 and or sticks to main tank in Tier 3.
He won't.
But
No, he
Yeah,
won't. He will
won't.
not.
Maybe another
Number-
season.
5, I'm going with Chus. Chus, another one, just like in the Hog meta, just dominating everybody. Literally was just like the stuff he was doing on Hog was just stuff that you can't get away with. You're not supposed to get away with it. He was doing it. And I've seen him on DPS. Looks very good on DPS as well. At number 4, Phantom Void. Lucio, support player for Lucky 13 Diamonds. I slept on a lot of diamonds, but I watched that game the other day.
That guy's
his Lucio,
nasty.
just nuts. He's just like second best support in Tier 2.
Burke and I
First
were
best.
talking about him. Hold on. Burke and I were talking about him. We're just like, is that, this guy looks a little sus, right? Like, he's really good at Lucio. And I'm like, he might be, but he also could have just been that guy in your ranked games who was like, Brig is so OP, it's not even funny, and Lucio.
Yeah.
And just did that forever. And we're like, that could probably keep you T2 for
That
quite
could
some
definitely
time.
keep you in T2 and get you pretty
Like-
nasty at Lucio. He's definitely the
Yeah.
best Lucio Tier 2. Like, it's not even close. But I think Kane just plays more supports.
Yeah.
Well, get
I'm-
right to it.
Yeah, my number three, Hurricane, Blueprint Chaos. Another one of the big three from Blueprint Chaos that are all moving up this season. He's just like he's everywhere. He's everywhere on the field when he's playing Lucia or when he's playing support. I apologize. He can hop on Baptiste, dominate,
He
save
played really
everybody.
well in Tier
Oh
3 of
yeah.
CGL too.
Yeah,
On
His
support.
honor,
undefeated.
so
Didn't
good.
lose a map for Arc Flash
Yep.
when he played support. I don't think he played every map, but I mean, if you've ever played Ryan, you're like, man, I'm getting walled and this is awful. He will counter a May wall
Hmm.
like you've like, because obviously, like I think really good maps, GM ones, whatever, good maps. We're like, yeah, of course, you just charge up a boot, you jump up over it, you put the Emort on him, you're good to go. But like, I played tier 3 for a little bit now. No one ever really did that for me. You know what I
Nope.
mean?
Yeah.
Like if I got caught,
I
like no one really just did it every time. I remember the first couple of scrims I had with him on Arc Flash. I was like, oh man, I was like, dude, where's this in ranked, Kane? I was
hmm
like, what? I was like, what are we
Yeah.
doing out there? Like, why is this just this? I get why Arc Flash likes you so much, but yeah, better known as
Yeah.
Kane, more of a permanent thing. It used to be a meme because he was a tank player, busting out the
hmm
Kane now. Now it's kind of a role that he picks up and plays. He'll play Moira too. He has
Yeah,
to.
I'm looking forward to playing with him on Riot next
Anna.
season. A lot. A
Hmm.
lot. Yeah, and number two, here's the third of that the big three from Blueprint Chaos. I have Sleeping. Sleeping very easily could have been the number one. He's right up there, probably 1A and 1B with who I have. But he's just his off tank this season has just been it's at a tier three level. It's at a tier three level, probably beyond.
I think everyone who
I
played
think.
in Tier 2 like respects
Hmm.
how scary of a tank player he was the entire season too. Like I don't
Absolutely.
think anyone is
Well,
like,
Yeah.
oh, sleeping a number two, like that's too no, like that is not too high
Nah.
at
he,
all. It might even be too low. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
yeah, so if anyone wants a little backstory on him, I was Kane and I were like, because Kane and I run Blueprint, and we were trying to figure out tier 3 stuff, and we were like an inch away from just signing him to our tier 3 team as like a
Hmm.
backup or potentially a starter. Didn't know enough about him, but he looked really, really good in these tier 3 trials we were running.
Oh yeah.
Then we looked at like his seasons that were available, and he was like 3K, and then Kane's like, I'm a number one tier 2, puts him in, it puts our average directly at 3K, and we will go sign him right now. And
Yeah.
I know Time Bomb, who was running the team, was a little apprehensive because we just kind of put this guy in there that they didn't know about. He had like DPS trials. We were just like, dude, trust me, this guy's kind of nasty. Blueprint was not looking that good before we got him because Kane was not playing support. He was playing off tank. Kane's a good off tank. He won't goof up, but he's not scary. I don't think of him as like a scary off tank. And
Yeah.
obviously, in any tier, there's going to be scary fragger off tanks, just chucking grabs out and doing all that kind of stuff. And Kane's just really well suited for BAP. I mean,
Mhm.
BAP, Ana, whatever you want him to do. He's going to play really
Yeah,
well. So,
Kane does his job. That's like when I think of Kane, he's just the workhorse that does his job. Sleeping, even on DPS, I've seen him just like in ranked and stuff. I've seen him just pop off. Like he will go out there and he'll make the plays. You know what I mean? But yeah, overall, that leads me to my number one spot. And again, it was pretty easily one of these like 1A, 1B. Deadass Elite took my number one spot. He is just the best DPS in tier two. I don't think it's close. I really don't. He can flex to just about everybody on that roster. I've seen him pop off on Ash. I've seen him pop off on May, Farah, just Sim. He can just do whatever's asked of him. And yeah, he was kind of like the first person I thought when I said, okay, I'm gonna make a list. When I was told to make a list.
yeah, you didn't think of this, Chase. These are not
Yeah,
original
yeah.
ideas.
Yeah, no, not at all. I'm a sheep. But
PogChamp told us
yeah,
to make these lists.
yeah, yeah.
Exactly.
But yeah, no, and honorable mentions, I do have honorable mentions here. Zinvo, I think he started off so hot. I think he has
That's
the
a good one.
potential if he
Yeah.
just, yeah, if he just gets a little bit better, like game knowledge, I guess would be the word.
Especially like in Tier 2,
And
doing that as a widow, I feel
yeah,
like is pretty different.
hmm and Raichu, he honestly he gets this honorable mention
Okay,
for me
Cam.
at least.
Sorry, I yawn and just like tears
Yeah,
all over the
yeah.
place. So I'm just dealing with that right now.
But no, Raichu, I always looked at him as the Junkrat one trick, which he proved me massively wrong. And this is really based off one game. He's getting the spot for me. His Widow against who was it? Was it No Daylight? No, it wasn't No Daylight. It was
A team
Taking
in
Space.
tier 2.
Taking Space. Yeah. Uh, yeah, he just popped off. He was so good, and I think he has a lot of potential if he comes back. I think he's still tier 2 eligible next season. He could definitely take that top spot if he just keeps showing what he did against Taking Space.
Jace, are you an honorable mention?
I will not put myself on any list that I ever make. Ever.
Because if he did, it would be number 1, 2, and 3.
Exactly. It's either I have an ego or I'm bad. Like, that's the only two ways you look at this situation.
A pretty good tank.
I think I'm okay.
Like an 80 overall at least.
80 ever at best.
At least an 80 overall.
I mean, to be
Aaron
honest, I
bumps
think
it up.
I think he carried that out this season, being an 80 overall tank duo. Because let's be real, Jace never really had a solid off tank with him. No offense if they're watching or not. I mean, I think they were closer to gold than they were plat. So,
Well, when I had Hockey Man, we went like 4-0.
I know,
Hockey Man.
I know, you guys, you had a good one. Yeah, he left Overwatch.
Bummer.
Unlucky stuff happens.
Yeah. Oh well.
Oh,
That's my list.
that was a good list. Pathfinder Ender on No Daylight, the DPS over there, did
Yeah.
really well all season, but that was a list with a ton of like insanely good DPS on it. So
Yeah.
you
There was a
top
lot of people
10.
I wanted to put on the list, but
Yeah.
It's
just,
When
it's
you're doing
impossible
all
to get
three
them all.
roles, like there's so
Yeah.
many people who are just right on the doorstep of being on the list. But
Yeah, it's
you did-
impossible.
I think you did a good job. I liked all the picks.
thank you. I did it in about 10 minutes. Yeah, thank you.
Slaved over it for 5 hours. Did extensive research.
Yeah.
Yeah, that 30 minutes I put into I need one more, guys. Give me anybody. I'm willing to put anybody on this damn list. That was me doing my list. Huh?
Yeah,
I
you
need-
really
I
had
need-
you had a lot of
you
trouble
guys-
filling the
you-
number 8
let me put it
spot.
this way. But yeah, I was gonna say, you guys will know you'll know the person I name when you're like, man, he was struggling. Here's the thing, but I'm not going into mine next. Burke is going next. Mine is like the top 10 BA people or whatever, something of that nature.
Yeah.
And it's not that there's not a lot of great people in BA. I'm just like, I wanted to mention people that I thought maybe like deserved an accolade of some kind. And I know I missed people in it. And you're gonna be like, how'd you miss me? But you couldn't think of anyone. This is what you put in. You'll know. And I'm not being anyone who would care. So, a little teaser for me.
All right. I guess we can just walk right into the tier 3 top 10. I already put it on Twitter, so might have already seen it, but I didn't like elaborate on it on Twitter. So at number 10, I've got Wilkins, who was the Super Trash Bros support, the Lucio player, and the EU shot caller, staying up until like basically just never sleeping. I've never heard of him sleeping or catching any sleep.
All right, my
Yeah, okay,
night
that's
shift.
yeah, night shift. But up all through the night, never really missed a game or a scrim, and was just like a legendary shot caller and definitely like the brains of STB, which was a strong team all season. So he's definitely got to be on that list. And then at number 9, I got Coach Amira. I think on Twitter I had those switched, which they could flip flop. But Coach Amira, deep dive DPS player, had an insanely hot start to the season. I've never seen him play a game where he wasn't popping off consistently on every map, so I think he's got to be on it. But that deep dive team, man, I don't know what happened. They got a lot of top players on this list right here, and I think they were just, I don't know. They ran out. They ran out in the playoffs, man. They were like the Dodgers the last 4 seasons, but if they keep going and keep having strong teams, then they'll get a championship. Number 8, deep dive tank, T-Dos Dilly. Played him a lot in scrims too, and just a guy who you knew had the Rhine chops. Like there's some main tanks out there who you're just like, this guy doesn't really have what it takes on the sticks to just like go in and body a team on Rhine, but Dilly like every single time would just like come through and steamroll you guys. And then Geo also, he's not on the no.
Right.
I mean like I scrimmed Dilly, and like I know he was an off tank. And
Wait.
he was better on off tank, but like he played a lot of main
That's
tank
funny.
too.
I'm
Just
sitting
knowing
here
that
like-
he could flex to main tank and just like have what it takes on
That's
Rhine.
cool.
Yeah, it was pretty good. So like I was just like, yeah, that guy's just a total gamer. So Dilly's got to be on the list. 7, I had Zol's deep dive support. Another deep dive member. Just insanely strong team. That also could have been Aquatic. Like Aquatic had an insane season. Also had my favorite play of the entire season when he brig stunned an EMP on Busan against Carpet Pizza in a very big game. That was awesome. But I hear Zol's is
Carpet
just
Pizza.
like, they were just like a leader. You know, never got down, never got toxic. Always had like their head in the right spot too, and like kind of kept deep dive together. So they were like another kind of like Wilkins, just like the good glue to the team. Yeah, and then at number 6, maybe a biased pick, but I really don't think it's biased. I think it's biased having him this low, but Sticky Grundles, Deathwatch DPS, another one of those people who just will never show signs that he's tilted, comes up with plans every fight, plays an insanely good hero pool, plays them all really well. Can play like Soldier, can slap on Mei, plays a ton of Sombra. And yeah, just like a great playmaker and a good guy to have on your team too. So that's number 6. And then number 5, Golden Hour support, Skipper. He plays Baptiste better than I think anyone in Tier 3, without a doubt. And it's not the only support that he can play. And that's a team that runs afar all the time. So when he's out there playing Baptiste, they're asking a lot of him on Baptiste, and he keeps him up. So he's a great pick for number 5.
Yeah.
And then 4 and 3, the Solar Flares tanks currently. We got Weary Bunny and Nade. You can put either one of them at 3, either one of them at 4. I think it's fine. But they can play any comp. They can play dive, they can play brawl, and they're one of the only tank lines in Tier 3 that can do that like seamlessly on pretty much any map. So those two guys are really strong. Cam, you got to play them a lot, right?
I didn't get to play them. I played with them and was trying to have a starting tank spot when I was on that team.
Well, no, like I didn't know if you like got to scrim them a lot when you were on STB, because we didn't scrim them that much.
No,
They don't
I never
hardly
really.
scrim
I
at
don't
all.
think they don't scrim with that roster 'cause they can't physically like scrim. I guess, right? Like I just
Like
played them
midweek,
in
I know they
playoffs
can't do
right
anything.
after we. Yeah, we tried to not try to. We tried to play them in our week 1 playoff match, and we got absolutely bodied right after losing Leo. So that was tough. That was tough out there for all the boys. But they are a force.
Yeah, they are. Number 2, talk about a force. You got the Doom OTP. He's not a one trick, but Perkaholic on Hindsight Feeders. That guy is just creative and disgusting on a hero that not many people are playing in Tier 3. And he can just control a game on Doomfist. You've seen him play. He's an animal.
Yeah, he's nasty. Yeah, he's an animal. More Doomfist rollouts than anybody.
Yeah, he comes in from
Not
the
even close.
skybox every single fight.
Yeah. Busan, there's a lot of like those, I don't want to say anything racist about their roof, that kind of roof. And, yeah, they're really slanted and stuff. And boy, you slide right off those things. Can I call them Asian roofs? Can I call them Asian roofs? Is that allowed? I don't know what else to call them. I'm not
Just
a
say the
roofing
word
person.
architecture after Asian, and it's not racist even a little bit.
Asian architecture roofs. Okay.
There you go. All right. Number 1,
Can't
Tier
cancel
3.
me, folks. It's impossible.
Number 1, Tier 3 best player, Golden Hour DPS, Fury legit. Played Soldier in the game against us most recently, but I would still say he's like their Pharah, basically one trick, because it's really hard to force him off Pharah. You can be on 2 hit scans and he'll still play it into you with a pocket and just cut your team apart.
Yeah. That pocket does not leave him.
No, that's why Skipper's on the list, is because that pocket doesn't leave him, and Skipper has to heal 4 people for all of their HP.
Yeah. No, I wanted to mention something about that. I'm like, and when Fury has pocket, I know so every comment for Arc Flash when it comes to Fury is like, don't go heal that person. Just stay on Fury. Like he might just trade out too if you stay on him. Like because there's just no point in leaving someone that's just going to be hitting almost every rocket and moving in a way they're not really going to get shot much. But as soon as the fire's not pocketed and they get hit once, I mean they're pretty dead.
Yeah, pretty dead
And he'll
indeed.
sit on your head.
Yeah. And people run 2 hit scan against him all the time. So like that pocket really can't leave him if you're going to actually keep playing that DPS hero.
Yeah.
I think Fury like gives Golden Hour a really good chance to just win the whole thing. I think he could.
No doubter.
He's either going to go against Hindsight, which we've seen that they can hang with
3-2.
that team, and Fury can play
Hindsight.
Pharah into them. Like, Hindsight has great hit scan. That Sexy Man 990 guy, he could have been on this list. You know, I thought about
Yeah,
putting
I'm
him on
surprised he
there.
almost didn't make it. Too many deep dive for no Sexy Man.
I know. Well, if I was going to take one out, it'd be Coach Amir for Sexy Man, but I don't know. Coach Amir's
think
start of
Coach
the
Amir
season
has
was
earned
just,
it, though.
yeah, it was so insane that
I
he's
think
got to be on
I
there.
think I don't think he ever fell. I don't know. I just saw him in scrims recently.
I don't think he did either.
I think Coach Amir deserves a spot. I don't know. I think that's a good honorable mention though, Sexy Man. I think he makes a list that's just made slightly different. That's the thing with any of these lists is no one's ever just gonna be like, I completely agree with you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sexy Man's
Never gonna
definitely an
happen.
honorable mention, and Pazalai, definitely an honorable mention. I like Pluto. I'm a wicked biased because he's like my off tank. So,
Pretty
you know,
good.
he's
Zarya.
always
He's pretty
bailing
good,
me
Zarya.
out. But yeah, he's a really good Zarya. I wish his stupid appendix didn't have to come out. But
You should
whatever.
have kept that in for the people.
He's
Keep it until
okay.
the finals.
I'm glad he's okay, and he was like smack talking during the Twitch stream, like during our game. He was just in chat, just being stupid and dumb. But I'm
Yeah,
glad he's
probably
okay.
high as a kite.
Yeah, probably. What else we got?
Well,
Any
my
other
list was that
honorable
number one?
mentions? I don't know.
No,
You guys got
honorable
any
mention.
honorable mentions for tier
Honorable
3?
for tier 3.
Yeah. Spoon.
Spoon's definitely Spoon and
Dude,
Spirit.
Spirit before Spoon. The auto one trick.
Yeah, I think they're both good. Television.
Spirit is really good.
Television Spirit.
I thought Spirit was insane at Ana, like since the start of the
Yeah.
season. I was like, that guy can hang. Like he is very hard to kill. Way in the back line, hits all of
Yeah.
his shots.
I
mean,
know he recently just got an alt playing like Ana the 3600, so it's not he can do it again. Like he could maybe get tier 4 next season if he like gets his head down and grinds.
I think Corgi, maybe not quite honorable mention, but the fact that he came up from tier 2 to tier 3 this season and he's more than held his own, I think is something worth talking about.
Oh,
Yeah.
Jace the tier 2.
Yeah, true.
He wants
I
to
mean,
make
I
all
didn't
five
pick
tier
him
2
second
move
overall.
ups so that they
Yeah,
hold the strong on
absolutely.
Volskaya and don't get Wyatt wrong.
Absolutely.
All right, I think we can get right into your list, Neely, of the top 10 Better Academy
We going
members
10 to 1.
since launch. Yeah,
Yeah.
10 to 1.
All right. Well, I kind of hate that it's 10 to 1 because the reason I did this number 10 was so that it would get mentioned kind of at the tail end, and
Nah.
not really get talked
You
about.
can do
and
it
just kinda
1 to 10.
Move right through it. Oh, I gotta do 10 to 1 now. I gotta stay because everyone's gonna hate this one right
Okay.
off the bat. But I think if we're talking about people at BA, I hate saying legends now because this is really horrendous. So we're gonna go Yelk, Neely, and Kane. I do a lot of grouping here. I think I gotta sell myself here. I
Let's
think
go!
I think Yelk and I kind of deserve it because we started doing like the most like legit casts in season 1. We've been very vocal about getting casters to do it. Time Bomb's the one that actually schedules them, but like we always just keep saying, come out and cast. BetterCast died. We were kind of when BetterCast was going, we started our own like random Overwatch podcast, and we were kind of almost preparing to basically take this thing over. I think we both kind of thought it'd be kind of cool to maybe add some BA stuff. Maybe just do the BetterCast, and we picked up the BetterCast and kind of started carrying this thing that people do like to come out and see. And then I have Kane also in the 10th spot, and you're like, wait, why 3 10s? Are you all tied? I don't know. He's kind of in the same ilk as us with like production and like stuff like that. Not necessarily legendary players. We've been playing since season 1, so we've all played for 4 seasons, which is I think rather impressive in a BA league where not a lot of people have done that. And then you have Kane, who he became an officer and became an admin by doing things he wasn't asked for. I think that's like kind of the spirit of BA in like a sense is it's volunteer work. There's a lot of people that can do graphic design. There's a lot of people that can do all that stuff. He never claims to be the best at it, but he would just do it consistently. I mean, he did it for months, and we're just like, why is Kane not like something? Like, there's people that are officers that are doing nothing, And Kane's not even one of those, like where they could just ask him, "Hey, we need to do this thing that we can't talk about yet, but like you can make a something like that." Because most people have a paywall behind their stuff. He's no paywall. He's a volunteer like everybody else, and that's what really I think puts Kane in that kind of a spot. Also, he's been playing since season 2, very improved player, and all that kind of good stuff. This is just gonna be me just talking good about some people. So that's 10. Moving into number 9. Another two-parter. They're kind of separate for why they are, but they have their own connecting glue of why I put them together. We have Ponzi and Walrus Manslap. I have Ponzi in here because he's probably been the most successful coach from the beginning to now in BA. I think if you just kind of look at it, like Fat Shats, season 1, coached it. Walrus was on the team. He coached Walrus and that team, and they won the championship. They won it with Seth. One of the current admins now. Ponzi then took on Death Watch, a tier 2 team going into there was a tier 2 team initially, and they were gonna do tier 2. Some of their guys climbed, but they wanted to stay together, and so they're like, let's go T3. Guys like Pluto had already climbed, and then a couple others. I think Sticky was another one who had climbed, but they all wanted to stay together and be a team and work together because they really liked the environment that they were a part of. Ponzi said, okay, but we gotta like get good. And I know he was a big time tank coach for guys like Pluto, and I forget the initial Death Watch main tank. It was not Yelk at the time, but they were like half tier 2, half tier 3, if even that, and they were competing with tier 3 teams that beat tier 3 teams, all that kind of stuff. Can you close my door?
No.
All right, it's just loud. So yeah, competing with tier 3 teams as basically a tier 2 team, and Ponzi was a gigantic part of that. And then this season, Ponzi was the main coach behind Blueprint Chaos. Always great for tanks, because that's what they were built off of. He's a tank himself. Not saying he can't do other stuff. I know he worked on our hit scans, not leaving high ground to touch cart, all that kind of stuff. You're just keeping everything together. And Blueprint, obviously we had our issues with that one guy that tried to smurf on our team, and we didn't get our shot in playoffs, but I think he did a fantastic job giving us our perfect season, which perfect stage or whatever you want to call it. Because I think that's basically what it was.
Deathstroke, that was the main tank.
Deathstroke, yes. I remember he was good. He was a good main tank.
Yeah, he was.
He could probably still play tier 2. I don't know if he ever hit tier 2.
He was a really good Orisa.
Yeah. He was a good like main tank for sure. And moving from Ponzi into my other number 9, which was Walrus, who was with him, kind of an OG BA guy. Just kind of made a team. Always kind of liked him around. Comes in, makes this team here. I don't know why Berg and I were both like, I feel like Walrus should be here. I think he probably has like less accolades than some of the other people, like actual accolades. I know he had to go for a while because of life. I think now he's having a kid, or he had one. I don't remember. But he's done some casts. He's hilarious. He's a good guy. It's really all I really have to say about him. Hey, Berkey, you got anything to say about Walrus or no?
I mean, he was the season 1 final boss. Like,
yeah, he was.
That was the monster main tank you had to get through. And all these seasons later, even like tier 2 playoffs, he's still putting fear into the eyes of like everyone going against him. So he's definitely a very noteworthy Better Academy member for a long time.
All right, we got 2 tough ones to get through here. They're gonna take a lot of explaining.
All right.
So when we said we were scrapping for number 8, you're gonna see why I was scrapping for number 8. Not saying there aren't people that aren't worthy, but why they're a legend and why they shaped BA. Not a legend. I'm not gonna say legend for this one. That's
but had
not
a
the list.
huge impact on how BA turned
big
out.
Impact in BA.
Yeah,
No doubt.
legend of them.
So Enlightened. We all know Enlightened. We're not gonna said the words Enlightened. They're like, wait, but didn't he almost blow up BA and ruin it? Absolutely. But I think he was the driving force behind why everything that's happened. The round down by 50 rule was because things were too strict with the SRs, We went over the, all the history last week. If you don't know some of the history, go back and watch it. It might inform some of this, but, talking down to the league, not really listening to the community. The community wasn't giving anything back to them, to be fair, but they weren't giving anything back because we weren't getting anything that we could tangibly see, We're supposed to do stuff, but we haven't had a league for almost 4 months, 5 months. Like, it's crazy how we just aren't playing the game yet. It's insane. it ended in like October, November, and it is now March. Like, we don't have a league, so you know,
I,
is
one of
he
the
a legend?
things-
He's more infamous than famous, you know. So he definitely is a driving force to how I know like Time Bomb and Breezy kind of handle things. I know Time Bomb was like, I'm gonna do the exact opposite of what he did while he was in charge. Like that, not what he said, but that's how he acted and went about BA. You gonna say something, Jace?
yeah, I was gonna say like one of the things when we were pitching this, like a few of these names around was just, and then mine was like how not to run. Like he showed, because we're a great league now, he showed how not to run a league to make it successful. Is the way I looked at it, kind of. But
Yeah, I mean that
yeah,
whole
might be
thing.
DM. I don't know, but
That whole thing had to happen in order for like there to be those 4 humongous community meetings that happened in like the span of a month where we just sorted everything out and got it ironed out and then had 2 really good seasons of Better Academy. So yeah, it was definitely like
Absolutely.
he wasn't evil, but just for the expression, it was a necessary evil that BA had to go through.
Absolutely. Moving right along to number 7, this one's a little more fun and someone that, say I could even apologize to personally, but most, what was it, reformed player probably of BA. Would you say, Burke, would that be how you'd label this one?
Definitely.
Yeah, so most reformed player of BA, someone that I think did lead a team uh, to some success, even if they fell a bit short when it counted. Definitely, I'd say proved me wrong and Burke wrong, as it is probably known that I was not a fan, of this player
It is
or
known.
person. It's
Yeah.
known,
It's known.
but
documented.
I'm
It's
over
documented.
I regret it. I'm not deleting it, but I regret it. It was not the way, and I was very short-sighted at this time. So number 7, PogChamp, the coach of Deep Dive. I'm not putting him in here because he was a great coach. I think he probably was a great coach, tier 4, tier 5 player leading this team. I'm sure he did a really good job. But I think if you're just talking about reform player, putting out positive things, did he meme on B and solar flares in the beginning? Of course he did. But the thing, and that's coming off me, he smurfed in tier 3. He was a part of the whole Horizon Lunar Colony. He was a big part of that. And, he kind of came back and, he puts out the tier list. People get a little riled up about him, but I mean, it's, he does care about tier 3. And at the end of the day, he cares about a BA thing. He's
Yeah,
putting out
and he
things about
puts a
a BA
lot of
thing.
effort into it.
Yeah. So at a certain point, you kind of got to respect the game. And, I mean, I know I talked to him a few times before season 3. I chuckled with him at a party because I said he was nasty and stuff because he was always playing in the scrims for some reason. Because I guess he was the only deeps that could show up,
My team needs a support fill, so I'm gonna play DPS.
Yep.
Yeah.
But PogChamp Tracer's good tracer for tier 3. Let me tell you, Pineapple. Is Pineapple reformed or is he never came back? I guess he
I
died.
haven't heard any
Pineapple
since-
is PogChamp.
I know who he is. I'm just
Oh.
saying. It's just more of a joke.
He hasn't.
Anyway,
reformed.
moving.
If you see that
Has not
account,
reformed.
report it.
Report Pineapple in your diamond games.
Yep.
All right. Don't actually. That'd be enough. People are getting DOSed. All right. Number 6, another 2-parter, and some people might not remember, but Ventral and Mark, Prisoner Zero. I wrote Mark down 'cause that's how I know him as, but it's Prisoner Zero. The Ventral Island Prisoner Zero tank line in tier 3 for Blackwatch last season was, I think Burke and I kind of came to the conclusion, probably the best tank line BA has seen. Obviously, we've had tier 4, so there's better players. But if you're just talking about, like...
Just like the dominance
Ventral
of a
was-
tank line in an entire tier.
And it's not that
That's
they
the
didn't
best
have
one.
better players. Like, I know Nito was really good for them, too, and stuff,
Yeah.
and they had other players. But, I mean, if you really just, like, look at it, it's like... Prisoner was just the best off-tank of that tier. Uncontested, best tier 3 off-tank last season. Best tier 3 main tank was Ventral. Uncontested. Can't even argue it.
And both of
was.
those guys had an insane finals game. Like
Mm-hmm.
they both had an insane tier 3 finals game.
Absolutely. We still remember Iraq on .1. I remember.
Oh yeah, Kings
I,
Row.
it's-
I remember
I remember,
Ventral
like,
going all the way to spawn to like
Mhm.
get stagger kills and then get like another round of stagger kills and he just like dropped a shatter like 300 meters ahead of his team.
Yeah.
Yep.
He was like, because it's really hard to find a guy like Ventral. Like, if you've ever made a team, you'll know what I mean. But a guy that's been like 35, 36 for like multiple seasons, plays a good amount of comp, and just like sits right in there. He almost peaks tier 4, falls back. It's really hard to find a guy that won't accidentally peak T4, but still maintains Masters and isn't just like a tier 3 good main tank that's like 3,400. You know what I mean? Like, that's a consistent 35, 36 and really puts it down every time he goes out there, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So he was kind of an anomaly because I just know when I would face him, like he was like, he that was my first season of tier 3, So he was always what I was looking at to compare myself to. But that's the ventral prisoner duo. That's number 6, and that's BA all time. I mean, it's not saying there weren't other ones. Maybe I'm a little biased, but that's just how I view it. That was the top league at the time.
Unbiased,
They
best
dominated
tank
it.
duo BA's ever had.
All right. This might be a bit biased, but what are you gonna do?
That's okay.
We got J-Cal. We got J-Cal, J-Cat. We got J-Cal coming in at number 5. Now, some of you are like, who's J-Cal? Why J-Cal? Why are you saying J-Cal? I signed him to my org season 2. He was in season 1 with Overforced. He was one of the few guys to counter Pardon the Loss on multiple occasions with Beat and Trans in a tier 1, tier 2 league where people didn't know to hide with that stuff when they had an uncontested Sombra. Like, he's always kind of had that brain. He just didn't play the game enough, and I know he played some DPS for him when they needed it, and I picked him up because I knew he was a strong DPS player, and we were just going to strap him on Zen and let it ride. And I mean, he was, I watched him plenty of times in that season 2 where it was like a tier 2, tier 3 hybrid, and he was just doing things to like Tracers and Sombras where you're just like, this guy doesn't need any peel, any protection. Like, at a certain point, yeah, you should like help him out, but he's going to deal with 95% of it himself. Obviously, that's from a long time ago. I think if we're to talk about him now, he's moved all the way up to tier 4. He's done all his ranking up well in BA. I have another person that's kind of like that, which I kind of appreciate that because is the Better Academy. It kind of displays a little bit of improvement. A lot of people tend to improve once they join BA because it's like a team environment and they start playing with better people and stuff like that. Another thing I'd like to mention about J-Cal is nobody has a Discord persona like J-Cal. It's unmatched.
Nobody.
We've all kind of seen it. Most of you have probably seen it. If you don't know J-Cal and you've never seen it, you don't know what I'm talking about, that's fine. But if you do, you know what I'm talking about. I have, from countless people, heard people say, I think J-Cal hates me. Like, I'm pretty sure he hates me. I'm like, guys, or whoever I'm talking to, I'm like, not only does he not hate you, he could care less about you. You thinking that, like, he hates you is giving yourself way too much credit. Like, he doesn't give a hoot or a holler about you, and that's just how he is. If you say, dude, I can't wait for Discord, or I can't wait for tier 3 finals, he'll just say no right under that.
Amazing.
Nothing else. That's just it. Or I don't care. Just like random thing. And I get you're like, why are you just friends with him? Why are you saying that? It's like, yeah, but I don't know. Keep an eye out for J-Cal on the Discord. You'll know what I mean. And you might think he hates you too. Trust me, he
It won't
doesn't.
take long.
Unless he
He might.
verbally BMs you, and even then, it's unless it's like with Scotland trying out for tier 4, putting his thing in the tier 4 rank, he's gonna say, get out of here. He doesn't hate him, but he's like, why?
If
You're a
J-Cal's
tier 2
really
player.
mean to you, he likes you.
Yeah. If he
probably
tells
likes
you
you.
that you're,
Dude, he loves
Oh.
me.
I mean,
Jesus.
I was gonna say, yeah, he mutes Jace like every other day. So
Yeah. And then shit talks while I'm muted. So I
Yeah.
can't respond. So
moving right along from that one. That one, some people might argue is too high. I think J-Cal is.
It's a good one.
He's been like a figure in BA for a while. Like, he really has. So it's like,
Yeah.
I think he could have fallen into.
He's
the
done a
honorable
lot of
mention
coaching
spot.
for random people. Like, to him, like, random
Yeah.
people that he, really should
Yeah.
not care about. And he's just, like, taking an hour or something out of his day for a lot of different people, players in the Better Academy. And he's just, like, coached them through all sorts of different roles, too. So he puts time and effort in.
Anyway, moving right to number 4. We got the one, the only, the Seth. This is a combo one though. It's not just Seth. It's also with Zach as a pinhead. But we're gonna start with Seth here. I mean, Seth needs no introduction. And you're like coming in at fourth. How is Seth at fourth? Well, it's because we've got some good ones coming up. You could maybe argue he's number three, but I like my number three a little bit more. I mean, OG Blackwatch, the two-time champ, trying to make it a
Denial
three-time
OW.
championship run. Denial OW season one. Yeah, I mean, he's won 2 championships. I don't think anyone else has actually done that. Lukey was trying to do it last season, but he couldn't quite pull it off because he won with happy little accidents tier 1, and he moved right up to tier 3. Then he skipped tier 2 kind of like Giga, and then he made it to the finals and got absolutely slapped by the ventral mark line. So he was one of the only other people that had a chance at the 2-time, and hasn't quite done it. So, Walrus wanted to take it this season. Slapped down once again. Seth is the only 2-time that I'm aware of, other than well, I say that, and then there's the 2-time Arisa bought champion Dragon, but
OW.
he's technically won too. So, but if we're talking about impact, I mean, Seth, I think most impact in any team that he's won for. Yeah,
It's a good pick. Who's number
and
three
then?
then?
His tweets don't miss.
Well,
His
not
tweets do
quite.
miss.
Yeah, I was gonna say, he's got a pretty prominent Twitter, for BA.
Yeah.
And,
With
it's not always
100,000 tweets.
Yeah,
BA. And
a day even.
a day. And to finish it out, he's the main guy behind finding Smurfs in BA. He's one of the bigger proponents into he might not do it as much now. I think other people have gotten good at it, but he kind of laid the foundation and the groundwork of how to kind of do that. He was like the OG sleuth of BA, which really opened up how that they now continue to find people, and I'm sure he's doing some stuff that I'm unaware of, but so he's on top of stuff like that, and
Secret
we can only
Agent
root for the
Man Seth.
3-time. Yep. And then we got Zach, and also at number 4, Zach is a pinhead. He's also I'm putting him in here because I didn't want to put I have Seth and Zach together because they're also for Blackwatch. Blackwatch is a legendary org, most winningest org in BA history, and Zach took over for Maestro Co, who started it. He's taken it over for quite a while now, and Zach has taken some of those wins and put them on his belt, because when you own the org, you get to strap those on, for yourself. So he's got a lot of wins under that org. Greatest guy probably in BA. I know a lot of good people.
He's got
but
love in his
he's
heart.
He's
Yeah,
the
he's
nicest guy.
genuinely good
Probably
guy.
probably
Zach
one of
is
the
so
best
nice.
teammates I've ever had in my life. Because
On any
just
sport,
won't
yeah.
tilt. Anything.
Any
ever.
sport,
Just,
agreed.
It's warm-up round. Warm-up round is Zach is a pinhead. And let me tell you, Strike had a lot of warm-up rounds.
Yeah, we
right
did.
into the last map. We were still
Yeah.
just trying to get the juices flowing. Anyway, that's it for Zach. I'm sure there's some more stuff to be said, but great guy. Number 3, we've got Storable Nat 69, Storable GNat. If I was to talk about him, he's had quite the BA arc, you could say. Was kind of here from the beginning days, made Super Trash Bros, was an OG admin. When Eddie kind of had to step back and, deal with his kids, he didn't quite get the, Enlightened was the one that was given the leader, but I've talked to Storm plenty of times, and he was doing literally everything. It's not that the other admins weren't doing some stuff, but when it came to, making schedules, thinking about, it was mostly all Store. Store was so stressed out with everything, so he was an initial driving force behind BA in its grounding, OG years. He was big into, how Discord worked and all that kind of stuff. Leaves because he doesn't like how Enlightened's running things. Potentially starts, another thing that's similar to BA. But I talked to him about this. He's like, my heart was in BA. He's like, that's where I put all my work. I don't have any love for this thing that I'm making. So he eventually comes back to BA once Enlightened's been ousted. He plays for No Daylight tier 2. He wins the championship with them. That's an emotional thing right there. It's a big redemption arc for
He
a
was
guy
the
like
happiest gamer ever when that happened too. I cannot even put into words how happy Storable was. He was over the moon happy to win a championship in BA just because he cares about it so much.
Yeah. And yeah, I mean, if we really go from there, I mean, he's finally. I mean, to get him back into officer after the way he left wasn't like kind of left a bad taste. I think in BA's mouth. Obviously, none of the people that were there when he left, were still there. I was not an admin anymore, and he left when I was there. He never really left a bad taste in my mouth. I didn't think he, handled it like he maybe should have exactly handled it, because I think he could have maybe yanked things back earlier. But I think he agrees with me a little bit there. I've talked to him about it, and hindsight being 2020, it doesn't really matter. I gave him countless recommendations to be an officer again, just over and over and over. I was like, if you have so and so, so's and so's as officers, and this guy isn't, you have no good reason other than like you think it might look bad because of how it I'm like, nobody cares. Like literally nobody in the community knows how he left, what happened. Like nobody cares. Like he's gonna do work for you. He's gonna do like
He's going to be so productive, and like why he's not an officer is water under the bridge from like months and months ago.
Months. Last year.
Yeah.
Literally. Over a year ago. Nobody cared. I don't care. I
don't care.
Yeah. Yeah. It's crazy. And best recruiter of all time.
Of all time.
Damon
recruited me. And I recruited him.
Me too. Yeah. Me. Yeah. But yeah, Storr is he's just the best. I've talked to him about it a little bit. He is he just sends it out everywhere. He gets people to join. I don't think
there's
ever
Better
recruited
Academy
more better than him.
MySpace forums with Storblenats users tagged in them. That's not true.
Oh man, I don't think that's true. But
you still have a top 2 for your list, right? That was number 3.
Oh yeah. It's technically gonna be 3 people because we got a duo coming in, and some people are gonna ask how are they not number 1. It'll be explained with time. We got number 2. We got Breezy and Time Bomb as a duo. I mean, I don't think do I even really need to say it at this point? I mean,
no.
They saved BA. The BA was dead and dying. Breezy and Time Bomb kind of came together. Time Bomb wasn't even an admin, but Breezy kind of just become an admin. It was literally just Enlightened and Breezy as an admin at the time. Breezy seeing, shit's going down. Time Bomb is like, I want to say BA because that's what all my friends do, and I think I could do something about this. They come together. Eddie randomly checks his phone someday, checks Discord, and sees that they need help. All 3 of them kind of come together, and they are able to, save BA, and not just save it, but keep it going with like such veracity or whatever that word is.
Save it and make it go from 500 people to like 1,300 people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's strong. It's active. There's seasons happening. People care about it.
People talk in Gen chat. No one talks in CGL Gen chat. Nobody.
If they do,
if they do, it's because they're getting in trouble for something they said on Twitter.
Yep.
And they're protesting.
But they never do what I would have done, which is say, hey, I saved it and I gotta chill out now. They keep it going, and they stress themselves out way too much with this stuff. So for them not to be at number 2. I don't think would be doing them any justice. So I think them, and why are they together? Don't they deserve their own spots? Well, I think they both deserve number 2, and I think they kind of go in tandem with each other. I know Time Bomb's not technically a head admin, but I mean, when it really comes down to like how things are run, I think they really are both our fearless leader at the end of the day. So, shout out to them and doing everything they continue to do and have done for. I mean, they've been doing it since like March.
Yeah, March.
Yeah, just about. So, still going strong, and I think next season's going to be just as strong. Some people view Tier 4 as a failure, but I mean, I think that's more on the players than them. There's not much you can't. If you have a system that works for 3 tiers and then Tier 4 goofs it up. I mean, sorry.
Yeah.
I don't think that's their fault.
Yeah. Agreed.
But I'm sure a million things could be said about those 2 and what the work that they do for BA. So they're the best. But moving to number 1, the uncontested. They're in big letters right here if you can read it. Probably not. I don't even know what I could see. I couldn't see my screen.
You can see it. You can see it.
You can see it.
But in big letters, we got Eddie Dominguez. Number 1, he created the thing. If you didn't watch the BA history last week, I suggest you go back and watch it. I do think I missed a few things I could have talked about, but I don't really care. We got the majority of it. I think a lot of people did end up watching it. And it was probably one of the most fun episodes I did, but you watch
that
that,
episode
you'll know
was
that Eddie.
that was a blast. If you want to hear like a good conversation too, we got a lot of viewers on this episode, and it's this is a good episode too. I'm having fun talking about all the players that should get the recognition they deserve. But that last episode, if you joined BA like season 3 and you were just like, what happened when this thing was just like a really small thing of just like 8 friendly teams competing and like everyone having a great time, like you should definitely check out the history episode. It's on YouTube if it's not on Twitch.
Because I don't know how like CGL was started, right? But I think it was like, I mean, this thing with CGL is it's console gaming. Like, it's not just Overwatch as far as I'm concerned. Correct? That's correct.
Yeah. It was a thing that was already like an organization that branched into Overwatch when Overwatch came out. But Better
Yeah, so
Academy
they already
is
had
just
a lot of manpower behind it. Yeah.
it's just Overwatch casuals coming together so they could be a little less casual.
Yep. But yeah, Eddie, he started the thing. I forget what he said. He didn't start it on Discord. He started it on some other thing. I don't remember. But he
Forge?
said, they started on something. What?
Is it called Forge?
Oh, maybe Forged. It was
Something
something
like that.
It was something old timey like that.
Yeah, it was like a Overwatch LFG like website, I think. I forget the exact name of it, but
Anyway, he started it over there, wherever that was, Mystery Place, and it eventually realized that wasn't the place for it, and they brought it to Discord, which was a much better platform. But Eddie, at the end of the day, I know those two that I mentioned, Breezy and Time Bomb, are our fearless leaders, but Eddie's the fearless leader. I think if anything ever happens, it should go back to him, regardless if he can actually do work on this thing. Because I know he's got so much time with his kids. He does not keep up with it, like Breezy and Time Bomb,
He's a real
Gilded,
person,
okay.
you guys.
Yeah,
And he's a real
He's got,
person with a life.
like job and mortgage and kids and stuff. Dude, imagine.
Yeah. But I mean, if you want to think about like why so many games are casted and they've been trying to be since like day one of this thing, that is because of him.
Yep.
And I know the casting opportunities that you can get at BA
He casted
are
my
a
first
lot
game.
easier. Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, casting opportunities, getting a casting opportunity in BA is so much easier than getting one in CGL.
Anybody
And you
can
should
do it.
Not even
and you
close.
should totally do it. Like
Yeah,
if you're even a
absolutely.
little bit interested, you should definitely cast a game. You can do it just with the Twitch app on the Xbox. You don't need an Elgato or like fancy overlays. Just Twitch app on the Xbox. I don't think you're going to be able to do playoff games because of the DOSing issue. I think those are only going to be on the Better Academy channel, so they can have like
And
the delays they need.
The pros.
Yeah, and the pros.
Pros.
But next season when it starts up or like getting into scrims, just ask any officer or admin if you want to cast a game, and you'll get a
Genuinely,
game
anybody
that
can
week.
do it.
Yeah, it's so fun.
There's so many games. And I mean, it's a bit old school, but do some scrims.
You never
If
know
you're
what'll happen.
nervous,
Either I'm casting college Overwatch tonight, and I started casting Better Academy games, so you never know.
Never know.
Never know.
Follow your dream.
Follow your dream.
But yeah, I mean, I'm sure there's more things I could say on Eddie. But I mean, he's a great guy. He started the thing that we all do right now. He's the reason that any of this is happening, that I do any of this stuff. So I
And he's
appreciate him
still
to no
very
end.
interactive with the members. Like he'll hop into a party with us tonight just to play some games, probably.
Well, yeah, but that's because we're friends with him.
And he knows like what
Yeah.
kind of touch like a leader should have on a league like this. Like he knows how to stay unbiased and make decisions
Yeah.
slowly and make them correctly, where going forward you have a precedent set where you don't have a complicated decision to make like that again, and he just gets it right the first time pretty much every time. Like I've not known Eddie to actually like make a plan and execute a plan and it be the wrong plan. It's always been
Yeah.
like for the best of the Better Academy.
Perfect example. Solar Flares versus Hindsight. I heard he went into one of the parties and was literally just like, "So what happened?" He's like, "All right, that's a map forfeit. You guys reschedule map 5. Is that good? We all good? Awesome, cool." And initially, I didn't agree with that, but I didn't know about the dosing situation.
Yeah.
I mean, in my opinion, he assessed it perfectly
Yeah.
as you could. 'Cause I'm the biggest advocate for not rescheduling one map. Like it's like if a team is the reason that it's not happening, but I think he assessed that situation perfectly. You can make a logical rule out of it after, Like, it's not just like, oh, this is gonna be hard to uphold. Like, oh, people are like, well, you dealt with this way, and this. No, it's gonna be like the same dealing with it. Like with how I explained it earlier, terribly, I know, but like very cool-headed decision, and he's just that kind of guy. I mean, if I could give some honorable mentions, this one's I think a little bit, maybe a little bit controversial. I don't want to hear anything from you two about it unless it's positive, of course. But I think Mentality deserves a little bit of a shout here,
Yeah,
just a little bit.
agreed.
I mean, he was. I think besides Burke and I was one of the biggest casters to come through here. He represents an org, and I respect anyone.
He's represented a few orgs and put a ton of
Yeah.
work into everyone that he's, gone
I
into.
do, yeah.
He even came into
I
No
do respect
Daylight for a
anybody that
bit,
does
was
that.
never like
Mhm.
a member of a team, like not on the rosters, and just like revamped our Discord, made it look real good, and was like putting effort into our stuff. So just like other things in the Better Academy could just look nice and clean. So definitely a good
Yeah.
one.
I don't agree with everything that he's done, of course, but I think if you just look at him for like, yeah, I mean, like I like Blackwatch and I like Blueprint because they made an org and they can stick around and they care about it. I do think, I forget the name of the org. I always call it like Daedalus or
Yeah,
Icarus. Is it Icarus? The whole org's Icarus. And there's one
I
team
might
called
be called
Icarus.
Icarus.
I think the
But-
whole org is Icarus. Yeah.
Okay, so that's Icarus, and I mean they're going to be around for next season as far as I'm concerned. I don't really see them going anywhere, and I do respect any org that does that because if you've looked at BA history, teams go away. Fat Shats is gone. That was one of the three pillars.
I never thought we'd
You know.
see him leave.
I didn't either.
crazy.
They just had a split. Chip Shots and Walrus. I don't think they hate each other, but I think one was just like we're beer leaguing this thing, and the other was like we want to win this thing, and
Yeah.
one fell apart, one didn't, but neither of them are called Fat Shats anymore. So maybe one of them will adopt the name next season. Who knows? I would like to see that personally.
It's a good name.
It's an open what is it, an IP or what is it? It's an open you have no
domain.
reserved rights to it, so it's out there. If you want to make a new team, you could be Fat Shats 2.0. Who knows? PH, not F. Just a fun fact.
Do you have any other
Yeah.
honorable mentions aside
Honorable
from
mentions.
Mentality?
Do you guys? I feel like there's some honorable mentions.
Oh man, it's a hard list to make. I like
Yeah.
Angry Gala just because, Tier 1 is a nightmare every season, and that guy puts an insane amount of work
Yeah.
into it because he knows that there's a lot of people who are playing Tier 1 who want to play Tier 1 who have a lot of fun doing it, and it would not be the same thing without him, so definitely throwing him up there for sure.
Yeah, no, that's a good one. I mean, honestly, if we're to give a shout out to anybody, just all the active officers that do anything for the league, Yeah, I mean, I can't really think of anybody else. I'm sure there's some people. Sure, you're like, dude, I do some stuff for BA. You're just not affiliated with me. Probably not. Probably right. You probably should be an honorable mention, but I forgot. So, stuff.
Jewel.
I'm thinking of you though. Thinking of whoever
Thank you.
you are though.
Thank you.
Jewel
Let's go.
Otaku. All right. That's
Oh, right. Yeah. No, honorable mention. Jewel Otaku for being on every BA team in
Yeah.
history.
That's impressive.
Trying to win a title
Yep.
on multiple teams and multiple tiers. I don't know how you'd win a title on 2 different tier 3 teams, but he's trying to do it
Yeah.
right now. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Solar Flares has got their own Jewel.
Selfless
and,
just 6 jewels.
Hindsight's got a Jewel.
Right.
Why do you think Hindsight keeps backing out of games and rejoining? It's not Dawson. Jewel's joining.
Yeah.
I mean,
Jewel's got to get in the
and
game.
Fury,
He's
Fury,
swapping
Fury,
roles.
Fury legit, more like Jewel legit. He's
Yeah.
playing Farah now.
God, this is.
Man. All right.
Yeah.
That's all, guys. Right?
Mhm.
That's a
I
lot of
think so.
lists. That's all the playoff scores at the start of this episode. Some highlights and clips from the games.
Tier 4 is a thing, apparently.
Tier 4 is the thing. We
Tier
got
4 will
playoff
go play
finals
eventually.
games coming up. So check out the Better Academy Twitch channels for those. You can find these guys on Twitter at the thing that is right next to their faces. Jace the Ace OW, Neely _OW. Mine's all _charge. This is going to be up on YouTube at the Better Academy YouTube channel. You can just search it. It'll pop right up. Subscribe there. Follow here. And have a great week. We'll see you on the next one.